Delta Airlines facing its first lawsuits in the wake of that flight that crashed and flipped over in Toronto this past week. 2 lawsuits were filed against the Atlanta-based airline yesterday. One of the suits claims severe emotional distress and mental anguish, saying they were, quote, suspended upside down and drenched with jet fuel. The other suit has a passenger claiming that the aircrew did not follow proper procedures for a landing. The airline has already offered $30,000 to each passenger. And it's been a rough few weeks when it comes to air travel, with several high-profile incidents. Some of them have been deadly. It's left many people wondering if it's safe for them to fly. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg takes the question and apprehension to an expert.
Patricia Ferrer's prayers paid off.
I was crying this morning when I was waiting in the airport. I'm like, oh my God, please help me.
The Long Islander safely landed at MacArthur Airport, but in light of recent airplane incidents and the fact that she wasn't a fan of flying in the first place, she's not going anywhere anytime soon.
When you hear the plane shaking, your mind starts going.
While travel agents we spoke with haven't seen an uptick in cancellations, psychologist Dr. Regina Lazarovich says the fear of flying is real and impacts 13% of people in the U.S. She says it's important for those who make up the statistic to stay grounded.
What I help people do is actually gradually expose themselves to the situations, because the situation is safe, and I want them to learn through their own experience that they are able to get through it.
According to the NTSB, the odds of getting killed in a plane crash are 1 in 11 million. Now, just to put it in perspective, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning or even winning the lotto.
I'm all right with it.
A little bit anxious about it.
Everybody has their own fears.
I fly a lot. I don't have a fear.
And if your thoughts are taking off on the issue, pilot and professor Dr. Michael Kanders says pilots are well trained and tragedies are rare.
You have to appreciate how many flights every day, tens of thousands around the world, and how many of them are conducted safely.
The FAA handles about 45,000 flights daily, with close to 3 million people on them. Before getting your nerves too rattled, think of the stats which bode in your favor. On Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
Coming up, we have an update on the latest on our top story. The faithful are praying outside the hospital in Rome, where Pope Francis remains in critical condition tonight, battling pneumonia in both of his lungs. We are back with an update that's coming up next. Also ahead, the NYPD needs the public's help after a woman was sexually assaulted on the subway. Welcome back. Here's a quick look at our top stories tonight. The city is suing the Trump administration to get back the $80 million in migrant funding that the feds seized from the city's bank account. The city's law department calling it an unlawful money grab. Adams says his administration is working to get that money back for the city. An independent mediator has been brought in to negotiate an end to the corrections officers' strike at prisons across New York State. The strike started Monday and spread to at least 30 correctional facilities. They are demanding safer working conditions and an end to forced overtime. The strike is not sanctioned by the Prison Workers Union. President Trump has nominated Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Kane to be the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Trump calling General Kane an accomplished pilot and national security expert, adding he was instrumental in ending the ISIS caliphate in the Middle East. Trump fired Air Force General C.Q. Brown Jr. as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff yesterday. Back to tonight's breaking news on Pope Francis. Doctors say the Pope is resting and alert, but remains in critical condition tonight after his double pneumonia worsened earlier today. Let's head out to St. Patrick's Cathedral, where our Jessica Formoso is live with the latest on this. Jessica.
Arthur, there is certainly concern about Pope Francis' condition. His critical condition has many parishioners here at St. Patrick's Cathedral and Cardinal Dolan worry. Now, as we've been reporting, the pontiff has been hospitalized for a week now. Doctors have said his condition is touch and go and that he is by no means out of danger. This morning, the Vatican, for the first time, using the word critical to describe the Pope's health, saying Pope Francis is in critical condition after suffering a long asthmatic respiratory crisis that required high flows of oxygen. The 88-year-old pontiff has been battling pneumonia and a complex lung infection. He even needed blood transfusions. According to the Vatican, the Holy Father continues to be alert and spent the day in an armchair, although in more pain than yesterday. At the moment, they say the prognosis is reserved. Here is Cardinal Dolan.
I love him. Hope he's around a little while longer. Because I think you all would agree, like Pope St. John Paul II, he's taught us a lot about strength and weakness. He's taught us a lot about being realistic about your struggles, your health, your aches, your pains, and to keep going on. That grit and that resilience is only one of the many lessons that Pope Francis has taught us.
And dozens of priests and nuns from different congregations around the world gathered outside the hospital where the Pope has been for the last week. They prayed and said the rosary at the statue of Pope John Paul II in front of the building. Here at home, parishioners at St. Patrick's Cathedral also praying for the Holy Father.
Our prayers are with him, especially in this time of need, that it is, in fact, critical. We pray for him and God's will for him.
Very sad to hear what's happening with him, but, praying for him.
And Cardinal Dolan led parishioners in prayer this afternoon, saying a Hail Mary for Pope Francis here at St. Patrick's Cathedral. That's the latest I have from St. Pat's. I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News. Arthur?
Thanks very much, Jessica. Now we continue following this developing story both on television and online. For the latest on the condition of Pope Francis, you can download the free Fox Local app. See if this person looks familiar. The search is on for this suspect who molested a woman on a 7 train in Queens. Here's a look at him. The NYPD is looking for the individual. Police say on Thursday evening, just after 5 o'clock, the 25-year-old victim was on the subway near the 27th Street and Queens Plaza South station in Hunters Point before the suspect allegedly touched her inappropriately before taking off. We know microplastics are everywhere, but you may not believe how much of it is in our brains. Coming up, a closer look at the impact the shards are having on the human body. And with egg prices skyrocketing, international smugglers are taking a crack at the crisis, how the U.S. Border Control is scrambling to put a stop to it. The cost of eggs and meals with eggs these days is going up due to the nationwide shortage. It's even prompted an uptick in attempts to smuggle them across the southern border. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, there has been a nearly 30% increase in shell eggs being confiscated at ports of entry between October of last year and now, and compared to the same period a year ago. Microplastics, they are everywhere, and as it turns out, those little shards of plastic are even ending up in our brain. In fact, new research reveals the amount of plastic in our brain could be equal to the size of a plastic spoon. Fox 5's Duarte Geraldino takes a closer look.
Every day, things like packaging, containers, clothes, even tires break down into tiny pieces. We call these microplastics, and they're everywhere. They drift through our oceans, float in the air all the way to Mount Everest, and turn up in placentas, our blood, and now, our brains.
It's surprising to me that it crossed the blood-brain barrier into the actual brain tissue. I think that's very concerning because that means that these particles are so small they're able to get through, vessels.
Dr. Rabia De La Torre is a gastroenterologist at NYU Langone. She studies the impact of microplastics on the human body.
The brain takes up nutrients from the body that has been heavily filtered, only providing the best for the brain. So the fact that the microplastics and the nanoplastics specifically made it there is very concerning to me.
A study in Nature Medicine found about 7 grams of microplastics in the brains of human cadavers studied in 2024. That's about the weight of a plastic spoon. Scientists even have pictures showing these microplastic bits stuck in brain tissue. See those arrows? Each one points to a particle.
We've detected microplastics in people's gut lining, in their livers, in multiple different organs, including testicles. And so that is obviously concerning, right? Because plastics were created in the last century.
The study also suggests microplastic levels in our brains may be rising. Researchers saw about a 50% increase between 2016 and 2024. They also found more microplastics in brain tissue than in liver or kidney tissue, and higher levels in brains of people with dementia. While the study shows a link between microplastics and dementia, it doesn't prove that microplastics cause dementia. For now, experts say it's a good idea to limit your exposure.
Say no to the plastic utensils you get in restaurants. Do not drink out of plastic bottles if you can avoid it. Try drinking out of aluminum or metal containers as much as possible, especially for your kids.
The possible health implications of microplastics are only now beginning to be understood. Duarte Geraldino, Fox 5 News.
More than half of Americans say they are not getting enough sleep. Coming up, how what's known as sleep maxing could help you get more Z's. Plus, Audrey's got a look at our improving weather.
Well, it looks like we're going to have dry weather continuing for the weekend, but next week there will be some chances of showers. I'll have the details when the news continues.
Today was the last day of the annual Kids Week at the Intrepid Museum. Over the last week, kids had the opportunity to explore the world of STEAM, the education approach, through a range of activities combining fun and education. There were engaging NASA displays, hands-on workshops, and even live animal shows designed to educate and ignite curiosity.
There's just so much fun for kids of all ages, we like to say. Parents are having a great time, kids are having a great time. There's lots of make and takes that kids can really have a lot of fun, but also learn while they're having fun too.
While today may have been the last day of Kids Week, the Intrepid hosts all sorts of family-oriented activities all year round. Time for weather now. Audrey Puente joins us with that. Hey, Audrey.
Hi, well, that was right up my science alley, that's for sure. All right, temperatures today were a little bit better than we've had lately across the region, mostly in the 30s. Our normal high is about 44 degrees, but listen, we're above freezing, so I'm sure everyone was quite comfortable and satisfied with today's temperatures. Much of the month, though, has been below average. You can see here on this graphic, only 6 days of the month have we been above average. We're going to see a little bit more red, though, as we move further on into the end of February, because temperatures are going to be above average and even into the 50s as we round out the month of February. Right now we're sitting at 33 in Islip, it's 32 in East Hampton, 34 you're checking in with 34 is the current reading in Bridgeport right now, 29 in Poughkeepsie, 23 in Monticello, and 33 is the current reading over in White Plains. Same temperature range is being found all across the Northeast, from New England all the way up to the Capital District of Albany. To our south, we're at 34 in Philly, and it's the freezing mark down in AC. So we're really quiet across the region. We're actually under the influence of high pressure, so that's going to keep us dry across the tri-state area. A couple of clouds are working through our skies this evening, and there are some lake effect snow showers, but they'll stay well off to our northwest. A look at the futurecast shows that by tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up with plenty of sunshine across the tri-state area. Clouds will start to filter in towards the afternoon. We'll stay dry again for Sunday, so our dry weekend continues. And then as we go into Sunday night, those clouds kind of clear out, and then Monday morning, we'll wake up with sunshine once again. Monday's actually going to be a really nice day, but it will be a little bit chillier because the winds will pick up a bit. So a breezy day on Monday will add to the chill factor as we move through the beginning of the week here. Some clouds will roll in late in the evening. In fact, overnight, there could be a couple of isolated showers passing through during the overnight hours. That's Monday night into very early on Tuesday. And then we'll get a break before we have another chance of precipitation coming in by Thursday. In the meantime, tonight's low temperatures will be pretty chilly, mostly below the freezing mark across the region. In fact, we're going down to 18 up towards Monticello. Expect a low of 23 in Sussex, 26 for you out in White Plains, and 30 degrees here in the city. Tomorrow's high temperatures, these are actually more normal for this time of year. Central Park's normal high, 44 degrees. That's what we're forecasting for tomorrow afternoon. We'll start out with sunshine. Some clouds will roll in towards the afternoon, but overall, a really nice day. It'll feel more comfortable, too, because we don't have that biting frigid air in place, and our temperatures are actually normal for this time of year, and above freezing, more importantly. We're going up to the 50s as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be at 56 on Tuesday with a chance of a couple of passing showers. Nice day on Wednesday. This is my pick for the best weather day of the week. And on Thursday, we'll have light rain coming in. It'll still be mild with a high of 52. And by the end of the week, we'll be in the upper 40s, and we're starting off the month of March. A week from today. By then, we'll have a high of about 46 degrees. Arthur?
Nice to be talking about showers and not snow. Thank you so much,
for a
Audrey.
change.
Yeah, well, if you are dreading another sleepless night, tossing and turning, man, you're not alone. As more and more people are trying to maximize their sleep, we're pulling back the covers on the hacks they're trying out. What is it that we all want, but few of us actually get? A good night's sleep. The struggle has fueled an entire industry with the singular goal of helping us sleep better. Fox 5's Meredith Gorman pulls back the covers on sleep maxing.
Sleep is incredibly important, and doctors say more and more people are doing what they can to get a better night's rest. In fact, it now even has a name, sleep maxing. And it involves truly looking at how we can improve the quality, quantity, and regularity of our sleep.
Sleep is pivotal for you to achieve your best quality of life, best function. It is proven to be an innate substance that is going to augment your ability to have a better immune system, better cognitive function, greater ability to be able to respond with the right mood, less impulsive, and great judgment.
Experts say some people can take it too far, between buying things that are advertised to improve your sleep with no proven evidence, or even getting lost in the data from sleep tracking wearable technology.
People are really taking a lot more control, which I think is nice. Where it gets to be too far is where people can give themselves anxiety, like knowing too much. But if you get too anxious about your sleep, it's going to have the opposite effect.
Wearable technology is more popular than ever, and people we spoke to agree with what doctors told us. The data you see can get in your head sometimes, but nonetheless, people are making choices to get a better night's sleep.
It's quite interesting actually, but then it puts a bit of pressure on you to fall asleep a bit quicker than usual sometimes.
I do some meditation, some light reading, and like I said, I take melatonin and that type of thing.
The bottom line here is better sleep is trending thanks to social media, and the doctors we spoke to today said this trend is one for the better. Reporting from Midtown Manhattan, I'm Meredith Gorman, Fox 5 News.
Okay, Jennifer Williams is here now with a check of what's coming up in sports. Hi, Jennifer.